There weren't a lot of people carrying cameras around in those days. Most people didn't know I was taking photos. I was sort of very discreet about it. My name is Avard, Woolaver. I came to Ryerson in 1980 to study photography at Ryerson Polytechnical Institute. When I arrived in Toronto, I was quite shy, but I also was open to talking to strangers. And I think I saw Toronto with country eyes. I really looked at it from a rural viewpoint, so I looked for scenes that reminded me of scenes from rural Nova Scotia, and photography was kind of a way of adjusting to that. Toronto in the 1980s was grittier somehow. For photography, there was a lot more open space. There were a lot more parking lots. Everything wasn't filled in. So the light was better in some ways downtown because you didn't have buildings blocking out everything. There was less traffic on the streets and maybe fewer people walking the streets then, so it had an emptier feeling than it does today. The early ones came about basically from school assignments, but later on of course I walked around the streets and was interested in capturing everyday scenes. The photography for me has always been a progression, so I did street photography then in Toronto. I've always believed that good photos are everywhere. I shot about 800 rolls of film in probably a 6-year period from 1980 to 1986. The negatives were in my parents' house in a big closet. They sat there for 30 years. I was having a slide night with a friend. This would be 2016, and we were looking at some of the old pictures from Toronto, and we were laughing, remarking on how different it was, and the fashions were different, and so on. And he said, "Well, why don't you scan some of them? I've got a scanner, and I can lend it to you." I scanned a few images and posted them online. These were pictures of Toronto in the 80s. The response was amazing. So I posted more online, and I've been doing it for the past 2 years. It's interesting because this is my 4th show at this little gallery. I had 2 shows here as a student and one just after I graduated. So I've come kind of full circle.